Welcome into this edition of Fire Away Friday here on the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham and Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio. This morning we're talking to you about, we're answering your questions. I know we're doing a little bit of that. We're also today speaking with Jessica Lynch of Visit Oxford. We're going to talk about different things in town maybe you didn't know about, just ways to find out a little more, different ways to contact and the like with her coming up here in a little bit. Neal's going to talk about Zach Evans for about 52 minutes today, where we're going to do that. Ole Miss plays a basketball game tomorrow against Florida, so that's what's on the docket a little bit today here on the podcast every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford, coming to town for the weekend. Stop on in, you get good gas prices, get even better with the Speed Pass Plus app, the mobile rewards program, and more. Some daiquiris, some ribs, some lunch specials that are $4.99 with 2 sides of bread. 32-ounce drinks, and if you leave the basketball game tomorrow and want to head on over to the Crystal, you get some money off at your scrambler or your sack full or your steamer pack there with the Oxford Crystal, not a scrambler. That's another product that they have that we have enjoyed from time to time. So that is what's going on with those guys, and again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is completely up to you. You can shop it around, or you can let Corey and the people at Clark Ford do what they've done for me, do what you would love, and that is they'll be your car guy, they'll be your truck guy, they'll prove it to you. 662-257-1900. Don't forget this weekend, if you're coming into town or if you're in town, good place to hang out on Saturday and watch some college basketball or whatnot is Rafters Music and Food there on the square in Oxford. It's also home to the Sunday Bluegrass Brunch. Begins at 10:45 a.m. on Sunday. $5 famous Bloody Marys, $3 mimosas at Rafters Music and Food on the square in Oxford.
So we're going to questions here in a little bit. You did make a post last night. Do we think we know Zach Evans' destination, all jokes aside? Or do we have a new favorite? Where are we at? What's going on?
Dude.
Have you changed your mind any at all is what I'm asking you.
I don't know. He doesn't know. You sat in here and heard a conversation that I heard too. I mean,
did.
If you want to go predict what that kid's going to do, you go for it.
Do you put any credence into the Ohio State thing yesterday?
That he's interested in it? Sure.
Are they interested in him?
Sure. That he's actually going to go to Columbus, Ohio for 4 years? I'm not convinced of that.
Well, you're not convinced he's going to go anywhere for 4 years.
I think it is a reasonable possibility that Zach Evans doesn't want to play college football, knows it, and is playing the long game right now.
Really? So you just keep on and keep on.
Kick the can down the road, kick the can down the road, kick the can down the road, and at some point people stop asking about it. I've told you I think it's possible that sometime in August he walks over to the campus at the University of Houston and says, "You got a spot?"
And they probably say yes.
Oh, sure, why not? Why would you, if you're Houston, why would you say no?
Yeah, if I'm the odds maker in Vegas and I got to put odds on Zach Evans, I don't know where I'm going with that puppy. I'm all over the map on that one.
Depends on what the money line you'd get, what the odds you'd get. If someone gave you 10-1 odds on Ole Miss, it's a solid bet. 2-1 odds would not be.
If I got a little bit, frankly, if I got a little bit of a long shot odds like that, I'd go with not playing anywhere.
Yeah,
I told you that
if someone gave you 20-1 odds on Florida, that's a good bet. 20-1 odds on Ohio State's a good bet.
Because there is no favorite.
No.
It changes by the day.
Well, he likes the attention.
Does he? You think so?
A little bit, because his Instagram points out that he likes the attention. Like over the weekend, he was clearly not supposed to tweet out or Instagram out that he was flying to Nashville or that he was on a plane. Created some issues. It made it where Tennessee didn't want to meet with him. I don't think he wants to go to Tennessee. I'm sure that will upset some of our friends in the network, but I don't, based on conversations that I've had. I don't think he really liked it there. He likes the idea of Florida. He likes the idea of Ohio State. But the reality of Gainesville, Florida, or Columbus, Ohio by yourself right now is not all that appealing, I think, if he actually thinks about it.
Okay. What is the timeline for Manuel? I know Britt's February 20th. What's Manuel?
They'll probably know by the middle of April whether some of the issues that he has academically can be cleared up enough to sign him to a scholarship.
So it'll be a bit.
Yeah, be a little while. There's some stuff that I think Ole Miss and maybe even Florida have to work through to look at. The thing is if you sign him and he doesn't make it, that spot on the 25 is eaten for a year. You can't backdate it. You can't use it for a grad transfer. You can't do a lot of things with it. So there's no reason to just give it away.
Ole Miss basketball facing Florida tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I believe, is the tip time for that one.
ESPN 2.
ESPN 2 at the Pavilion. Florida coming off a couple of wins in a row. They lost 3 in a row to LSU, Baylor, and Mississippi State. And then they beat Vanderbilt in Nashville, and then a huge comeback against Georgia. Neil and I saw a little bit of that on Wednesday night as they were down huge. Went on. I think at one time the run was 33-7, if I have that right, against the Bulldogs. And
I was at the gym yesterday, and they had that game. The replay of the game was on SEC Network, and it was remarkable to watch the way the thing just. If you're Georgia, I'm sure Tom Crean just found a pillow and started punching it.
81-75, the final there for Mike White and the Gators, who were 14-8 overall, and they are 6-3 in the SEC, 2 back of LSU, who did lose to Vanderbilt the other night. We were following along on hand raised guides for about a half or so, and they did. They dropped that one to the Commodores. What is the approval rating of Mike White in Gainesville these days?
Solid, not great.
It's fine.
It's fine. He's made them a perennial tournament team.
Yeah, it's not Billy Donovan.
They had the one Elite Eight run. And for the most part, they've had a hard time.
The frustration there is they lose to Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
one
Mike's
you'd like
fine.
to have back.
Yeah, Mike's fine. If you told me in 2 years Mike's somewhere else, I'd buy it.
The ceiling does not feel high relative to Florida basketball under Billy Donovan.
I don't think people understand how good of a coach Billy Donovan is. And
you mean coach?
I mean coach.
Yeah.
Look at the coach Billy Donovan is. Look at what he's doing in Oklahoma City this year. Kind of a collection of stuff. And they're 31-20 going into tonight's game against Detroit. They're going to make the playoffs. With a team that was just kind of thrown together. I think with the anticipation that they would tear it apart. And instead, they've got they're 2.5 games out of the 2 seed in the West. They're not going to be the 2 seed, don't get me wrong, but I mean, they've got a legitimate shot to get to the second round of the NBA playoffs. That's Billy Donovan. Done a phenomenal job.
And he was kind of under fire early, wasn't he?
A little bit, not by the people who matter.
Okay. So Ole Miss tomorrow, Florida again, 1 o'clock is that one. I'm not looking at it here.
I don't know.
I had forgotten they'd already played. Florida and Ole Miss.
Yeah, they played in Gainesville.
71-55.
The game where Brian didn't play.
Oh, that's right.
He had done something to his. I think he'd fallen.
They were without C too.
Yeah.
Brian and C didn't play in that
Hadim
game.
was suspended for the day.
Yeah.
And Brian had hurt his back in pregame and just couldn't go.
So little two-game homestand for Ole Miss. They beat Carolina 84-70 on Wednesday. Now getting Florida tomorrow. Actually, three-game homestand. They got stayed at home after that. Then they head to Kentucky and Missouri back-to-back for a couple road trips.
Yeah, got a chance to make a little noise here. People say, what's the noise? Get out of the Wednesday night purgatory game in Nashville.
I think they're 2 back of that, if I have that right.
2 back with Alabama really struggling with some health issues. Arkansas finds ways to lose one close game after another. That's the game Ole Miss probably wishes. One of the several games Ole Miss wishes it had back was Arkansas at home.
And A&M.
A&M, Auburn.
Take your pick.
LSU.
Vanderbilt
Memphis,
1-8.
Butler.
Missouri, Georgia, and Ole Miss all 2-7, and then Bama and Arkansas are 4-5.
Will the Rampage be covering Florida? Yes, I am covering the contest tomorrow.
What's in food for thought today? What are we talking about?
Talked about Bree and Tyree, a little bit of what you and I talked about the other night. I kind of wrote about it, about this narrative that's already kind of starting that, replacing Brian's not going to be a big deal. Yeah, it's going to be a real big deal. I pulled up where Brian is in the all-time Ole Miss scoring charts, how if he just maintains his average, where he's going to finish.
Mm-hmm. Which is?
About 5th
Really?
all-time.
Okay.
And if he gets super hot, he could be 4th.
Okay.
He's going to pass Keith Carter in all likelihood.
Who's 4th?
Let me pull it up. I had it here. I put it away.
Think you can find it pretty quickly?
Yeah, kind of know my way through a media guide.
Ole Misses are pretty standard on where things are.
Yeah. They do a good job with basketball media guides. John Stroud's number 1. He's not going to catch him.
What is the point total of number 1?
2,328 points.
Okay.
Joe Harvell's second, 2,078. Going to have a hard time catching him. Chris Warren, 2021. I don't think he can get there. He could get super hot, though, and he could pass Carlos Clark, who's 4th. Elston Turner's 5th. Justin Reed is 6th. Keith Carter is 7th with 1,682. Actually, if he scores 19 a game and they play 10 more games, he'll pass Carter.
So we end up somewhere around 1,700, 1,750, 1,800, somewhere in there?
Yeah, if he gets to 1,800, he'll pass Justin Reed and start challenging Elston Turner and Carlos Clark.
But it's unlikely he gets to 2,000 points is what I was trying to –
That
that would take an effort.
They'd have to win a bunch of games probably and make an NIT run.
Okay. Just curious. I guess I knew Stroud was the all-time leading scorer. I don't know if I knew that or not.
I wouldn't have known that.
Did you know that?
No, but I'm not a Ole Miss historian at all.
I just thought maybe you'd pick it up over time.
Yeah, no. I might have guessed Chris Warren. He scored a bunch of points in 4 years at Ole Miss.
You saw them.
I saw those points. Yes.
Let's see. Any news? Yeah, we knew this, but Doug Nikhazy will pitch opening weekend against Louisville. Mike Bianco said that yesterday. All punishment is severe and internal. So he will take the mound, I would assume, on Friday against Reed Detmers of Louisville. Detmers, a returning All-American from last season who had 167 strikeouts on 113 innings. So Nikhazy Detmers, probably opening day for the Cardinals and the Rebels. Dan McDonnell headed back to Oxford. Those are always fun weekends with no hyperbole, no pressure, nothing going on whatsoever when Dan makes his way down. So we'll have that next weekend between the Rebels and the Rebels and the Cardinals. Sorry. All right, we'll jump into questions. We got a few today. I forgot to put the thread up last night, so we're a little more limited. I put it up at like 4:15 this morning.
Probably good.
You think so?
Probably need to. I want to address a couple of things on the message board. Number one, you and your deleting Rampage last night's your business. I want everyone.
Would
to
you
know.
have liked for me to leave left that up?
Honest answer.
You don't think it would have bothered the other person?
I don't know.
That was my issue.
Maybe
it was not. Yeah, it was not a protection deal on the deletions last night.
And the people that are getting on me about not wanting to do the charity mayonnaise and banana sandwich thing, I don't think you understand the level of grossness that video would. And I don't want that. That's not something I want. That video out where for perpetuity of me vomiting everywhere.
You really would need a mayonnaise sandwich for $10,000 to
with
charity.
Bananas.
Dude,
no,
you're not gonna throw up.
Chase, I throw up. I mean, almost throw up thinking about it. I don't think you understand how gross that would be.
You would not throw up.
Yeah, I'd throw up. There's no doubt I would throw up.
Just whether that's worth it for $10,000 to a charity.
I mean, if people want to raise $10,000 for a charity, just raise the money. Do it. I mean, I'll contribute. I'm all
by
for
eating
it.
a mayonnaise and banana sandwich.
That
is your contribution.
I'll contribute by putting money into the PayPal, into the fund. How you call it?
Fundraiser.
The GoFundMe. I'll add.
Yeah, what if you get to split the pot?
Well, then that makes me look like a bad person.
Just asking.
I mean, I already have enough of that reputation as it is.
Hey, he took $5,000 from the kids.
Yeah, that's
or whatever.
Yeah, forever. You took $5,000 from a bunch of needy kids. I mean,
all over a mayonnaise sandwich.
Yeah, just why don't we pretend I ate it and raise the money?
Okay, what about this? What about 2 sandwiches, one just bananas, one just mayonnaise?
Oh God, dude, I cannot.
But that's not the combination.
I cannot eat a banana.
They hardly have a taste.
I just can't do it. I told you I was cramping in mile 22 or 23 of the Chicago Marathon bad. I was having major issues. I shouldn't have been running that day. I didn't feel good. I was all on a bunch of steroids, and it was 78 degrees and muggy. And I was really struggling at the end. For the first time ever, I was really struggling in one. And someone said, eat a banana. And I just said, no, I'm just going to gut through it. Because they were serving that syrupy Gatorade. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's just kind of concentrated syrupy Gatorade. And that.
Like it came out of a powder and it was too much or what?
Yeah, they'd not diluted it properly.
Okay.
And that started making me sick.
So you were screwed. You had no.
Yeah, and when I got to 26.2, I was completely at E. There were no fumes left. It was just E.
Because you're going around people, how much have you typically run in addition to 26.2? Because obviously you're not just running 26.2. How much extra by the time you get to the line?
Yeah, I looked at it on my thing. It was like 26.7.
About half a mile.
Yeah.
Just weaving.
Just weaving.
Yeah.
Because the people that say they're going to run a 4-hour marathon, a lot of them don't.
No, I feel like I'd rather go another carriage back and almost predict a slower time.
No, you'd want to predict a faster time.
Oh, you do want to predict a faster
because
time.
if you predict a slower time and you go
I'm
faster, you're having to navigate lots of traffic. Like the first
so
time.
I'm better off being the jerk you're talking about, letting people weave around me.
So the first time that I ran the Chicago Marathon, me being underestimating my abilities, which is a normal thing, I entered the 4-hour and 40-minute group, and I ran it in 4 hours.
Yeah.
And so I spent the first 13 miles weaving. And sometimes
it was that far?
Yeah, and
weaving?
And sometimes there's this group of like 5 or 6 people in a line who are running it together.
And you have no way around
And so
them.
you have to maneuver around them.
So they're the jerks.
A little bit. I mean, they're just.
Well, they may have predicted the right time. You're the idiot that predicted the wrong time.
I mean, so
really, it's on you.
Yeah. So the second time I was a little more realistic.
3 miles in before you can even get into a pace.
Yeah.
Because the shuffling and
Yep. Yeah, because the first one that I ran, I did really well. And it was this way in Minnesota, too. It was this way in Minnesota, too. Had it not been foot traffic, I think I would have easily broken the 4-hour barrier. No doubt. That, and I had to wait in line.
Yeah, because Chicago was like 406, 404 or something like that.
Yeah, 403.
Okay.
And in Chicago, where I also lost it was, I don't know why we got on this topic. I'm sorry. We'll get to the questions in a minute. 7 miles in, I really had to pee. And the line at the
But if you're only 7, you got to stop.
Yeah,
That you mentally, that would be a disaster.
Yeah, I'm doing that thing. Okay, how long can you hold this? Will it sort of evaporate?
Yeah, what's the law of diminishing returns on how long can I hold it, but how long can I handle it mentally too?
Yeah, and so I had to wait in line for a porta potty so that I could.
So how long you had to wait in
probably
line?
5 minutes.
Oh, really?
So that blew it right there.
That was it.
Yeah. I kept thinking, the lines at the porta potties will get smaller if I just run another mile. And at about 7 miles, I'm like, all I can think about is I really need to pee.
Yeah, at that point, just go.
And so you just got to go. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. If anything, that's a good segue as any. We'll get into questions in a second. First, about community mortgage. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting. Understands your market, a leader in condo financing, the float down option. And rates are really, really good right now. So you might want to take advantage of that. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We are also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's perfect place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. My food for thought is up. It is sponsored by the Iron Horse Grill. The Iron Horse Grill specializes in on-site large event catering for up to 250 people and off-site full catering services, especially beverage catering. So if you're planning a birthday party, a graduation celebration, a rehearsal dinner, or a wedding reception, you want to be able to enjoy the moment. The Iron Horse Grill is your answer. It's a one-stop shop for beverage services for a 250 to 500 person wedding or even a 3,500 person gala. The Iron Horse Grill is one of the largest beverage caterers in Mississippi, and it can service the entire state. So call Sarah Black at 601-398-0151 for your catering needs, and knock that off your worry list and let the Iron Horse Grill make your event one that is memorable forever. It's located at 320 East Pearl Street in Jackson. Today is the final day to register your son or daughter for Oxford Park Commission youth baseball or soccer. It's not soccer, baseball or softball. The league is open for ages 5 to 15. The cost is $50. The games will be played on the brand new turf at M Trade Park. Registration will conclude on February the 7th. The season will open on April the 6th. Go online today, oxfordparkcommission.com. And don't just accept what you see, but imagine something new. Step forward and chase after a better version of yourself. Every day, Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. These clear aligners are the virtually invisible way to improve your smile. So call Corinth Dental today for a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. Let them show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest, no down payment financing available at corinthdental.com.
Podcast also brought to you by In-House Interiors and Design. They handle every aspect designing the home, from windows, doors, paint, wallpaper, lights, fixtures, lamps, flooring, you can name it, including rugs and furniture. They have more than 30 years combined experience between Nikki and Ashley, and right now they're offering 20% off the first 10 dorm room design appointments. I know some of those have already been taken, so a good time to give them a call and try to set that up. 662-681-6241. They're inside Sugar Magnolia in Oxford. That's booth number 34. And they're also in Tupelo, brick-and-mortar location, 325 West Main Street. Again, 662-681-6241. Jumping into to questions. It was on the board a couple days ago, so it's at least worth answering. Said, did Ross Bjork give the NCAA names of boosters that were not mentioned in the NOA? How was he able to get a job if that was the case? I am not aware of that. I don't know. I have not heard that. Probably going to be accused of defending Ross after this, but I don't
It's
know.
kind of fun to watch the tables get turned here a little bit.
It's one of those days, isn't it?
For you to suddenly be the bad guy. I kind of enjoy this.
Yeah, I have not heard that. I don't know. I mean, we know boosters' names, we know the people there, and we know that everything was. I'm pretty sure all that stuff was found by the NCAA. Now look, Ole Miss turned way too much crap in. That's a different concept. But once the NCAA issued their whatever, I think those were all the names in the thing. Best I can tell.
Two things that I hear people get most upset about are the thing at Cannon with Ole Miss going over there and asking for the books.
Asking for the lease agreements or whatever. Yeah. Or not the rental agreements, or the loanership. Okay, yeah. That.
And then the second thing is the, quote, sting at
Rebel Rags.
I get it on the Cannon thing, but that ended up not being that giant of a deal. They didn't get crushed for the lease things. And had the players returned the damn things in time, it wouldn't have been – there was a compliance screw-up there, quite frankly.
And that got a little funny because technically, from a legality standpoint, there's no time limit on a loaner, though, right?
Right, except you have to put a valuation on it.
Oh, okay.
Each day is worth X dollars, and over a 100 days in this case. There's a valuation of what the benefit was.
Okay. Next question from Rye Whiskey. We just answered. Neil enjoying not being the bad guy for a change.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
I made an executive decision. I stand by the decision. I think it was still the correct decision. Had one or two things not been mentioned, the threads would still been there. I was looking for one key thing in every one of those threads, and once it popped is when I deleted it. I'm also really confused on how that came out to that extent, but anyway.
Yeah. I didn't even know because it was already deleted by the time I saw it.
No, I mean like how anybody even knew that to start with.
Small town.
You think that's what it was?
It's a small town.
People talk.
There are 2 or 3 people that if they hear it, you might as well buy an ad.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, there are 2 or 3 people I can think of that if they hear it, just go ahead and get a billboard. What was posted, though, was accurate.
Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't for falsehoods.
Yeah. You weren't worried about defamation.
No, God, no. That never crossed my mind I was going to get a cease and desist or anything. Hey, Bob says, Lane Train didn't hit the targets we'd hope, but there are a couple of fish left out there. How many does he need to sign to get any, quote, splash? And what's your gut on ceiling and floor for this team? Look, I think a splash per se is gone, but if you sign Manuel, he qualifies, and you get Britt, it's obviously a better haul. And
Evans is a splash when it happens. The amount of splash has disappeared. The splash opportunity was Wednesday and Thursday probably.
It's a splash. Here's the deal. Look, he's on your roster, and if he ends up being an All-American, he's your All-American. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
And you signed him, and you get credit for the 13th ranked player in the country and the 5-star. But it's not like you beat a bunch of other programs per se for him. So the splash does change versus you just signing a top 10 player because you won his recruitment, if you will. Evans' thing is so weird that it does take some of the push off of it.
Yeah. I mean, you nailed it. If you get him and he turns out to be a Heisman winner, you get him and he's your Heisman winner. But early on, when you sign him, there's a lot of nuance to the story about how you ended up getting Zach Evans.
Reading from Philip Shue here on the thing. Yeah, no, we're not. It was not an issue legally. I wasn't worried about any legality last night. Now, there have been people that have tried to tie us to message board comments from a legal standpoint. I don't think it would hold up all the way through, but
probably not. But
people have taken that route.
Yeah.
I had one guy that tried to sue me multiple times because I banned him from the message board.
Yeah.
That won't work.
Nope.
There's a nice little paragraph in there that essentially, in layman's terms, says that I can ban you for whatever reason I want at my own discretion, and that takes away the rest of it. Now, he was also really good at hiding IP addresses and just getting new names. I think he had like 27 usernames there at one point.
He finally surrendered, right? Just let it go. Moved on.
I guess it's possible he's there under a different name, but he's been calmer.
He's toned it now.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. If so, no. J.H. Vaught has never tried to sue me that I'm aware of.
He's fine.
He's fine.
I mean, from that perspective,
I think this is a fair.
He
question.
wouldn't be on my list of people that
no.
I'd be upset with.
I think it's a fair question. Since I hear y'all talk about Freeze always star chasing, it seems like there's a negative suggestion on how he's doing that. Can you explain the difference between his star chasing philosophy and Lane trying to get good players like Evans? Not trying to sound disrespectful, genuinely curious of the difference between the two approaches. I think it's a fair question.
That's a good question. Freeze was guilty of going after players based on stars just for the stars. And sometimes instead of recruiting players that he could have gotten. The example that always comes to mind for me is Mike Juarez, the 5-star linebacker in Los Angeles that he just got so infatuated with.
Mm-hmm.
And where Freeze was also guilty was when he had coaches on his staff tell him, the best example is Jannard Avery. Matt Luke, at that point, the offensive line coach at Ole Miss, kept telling Freeze, Avery is really good. Avery is an impactful SEC player, and he would crawl here. And Freeze just didn't take him. Wouldn't take him. And I think had rivals or 24/7 or anybody who was considered noteworthy, probably rivals or 24/7, had either of those outlets given him a 4th star,
You think his life's different with a 4-star?
I think he signs him immediately. I do. So, as it pertains to Kiffin's deal does not appear to be as star-related as it is. He's not going to take kids that he doesn't think can play. I haven't heard them talking about rankings. He hasn't gotten into that yet. If
anything, he's talked about how he's tried to avoid rankings because he talked about at Tennessee, he would absolutely just sign as many people as possible to pump a ranking up.
Right.
And now it's just taking the guy play at the SEC level, yes or no.
Will this work? We'll find out. He asked about the ceiling and the floor for this football team. I don't know. I mean, I understand that question. I do. I want to see what they look like in the spring. I don't know what kind of access we will have or won't have or what we'll see or what we won't see. But we'll get an idea as to who they like, who they think can play, what kind of systems they're going to run, that kind of stuff. I need to see that before I say, oh, well, this team could win 8 games or this team's going to lose 9 games. The schedule's brutal. We've acknowledged that. Baylor, Alabama, LSU, Auburn, Florida in the first 7 games of the season is brutal. The back half's a little easier to navigate, assuming that you have anything left in your tank at that point.
Mm-hmm.
They got to go to A&M. That's going to be very difficult. They get Mississippi State at home. I don't know what they'll look like under Mike Leach in year 1. They have to go to Arkansas, which on paper is a win, but you don't know what they'll look like at that point in the season under Sam Pittman, who's a first-year coach. There's just a lot of ifs. Too early to possibly, in my opinion, really put a reliable ceiling or floor on.
Yeah, I mean, the only from a win-loss standpoint, you feel like they're starting the season with 4, and then you work from there. Probably 5, but
I mean, who's the quarterback? He got asked about.
I mean, they're going to beat Georgia Southern, they're going to beat Connecticut, they're going to beat whoever the FCS team is, Southeast Missouri. And they're going to – I mean, Vanderbilt's probably awful.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah, I would assume. Got asked about quarterbacks the other day, and I thought his answer, which was a no answer, was telling. He was asked about John Rice Plumlee, and he said twice he's playing baseball right now.
It's going to be very hard to evaluate it. And
he basically said, if they're playing baseball, I want them all in until it becomes obvious that they don't have a role, and then we'll figure it out from there. So
essentially, if they have a role, it's mostly going to be baseball. He's not going to see them all the time.
Yeah, I had someone ask me what happens on like Grove Bowl day or scrimmage days if Plumlee and or Ely are playing big roles in baseball, and I said they won't scrimmage. They'll play baseball because they would have played baseball the night before, and they'll have to play baseball that day, and they'll be playing baseball the next day. They'll play baseball. Now, if they're pinch runners and 6th and 7th outfielders, my anticipation is that they'll play football and then go over and get dressed in time to pinch run in the 8th inning.
They are being patient here, as they should be. Figure it out. There's time.
And Doors Rules 28 about the quarterback thing, he says if they went after the Stanford quarterback, referring to Costello, who has subsequently signed with Mississippi State, then that is telling, and I will tell you that I can't confirm this, but I've heard that they did. I've heard that they did.
They reached out to Costello.
More than kick the tires on Costello.
Okay. Basketball question. We kind of answered a little bit, but I'll go and ask Neil here too. Luka and Trae Young will both play in the Rising Star Challenge and the All-Star Game, so I believe that's unfair to rookies like Terrence Davis. Fair B for tough luck. If you were commissioner, would you be eligible for both?
Yeah, because the weekend's all about marketing, and those are two of the most marketable players on in the future of the game. Does it suck? Is it unfair to Terrence?
I would be tempted to make them choose simply to get more faces involved, but I understand both sides.
But it makes the Friday night must-watch television now, because you're going to get the slam dunk thing, and you're going to get the All-Star thingy, and I mean. No, yeah, it's on Saturday. On Friday night, you're going to get the Rising Stars game. And so now Trae Young being in it, Luka Doncic being in it, makes it more watchable. Is it fair to Terrence? Yeah, it's fair. Does it suck for Terrence? Of course it sucks.
Yeah, both true.
Yeah, but is it unfair to him? No, it's not unfair to him. Terrence is getting 8 points a game on the Raptors. Now you kind of wonder what would have happened if Terrence had been on a bad team. Would he be getting 25 a night? But he plays on a team where Terrence is, I just looked it up this morning, he's averaging 17 minutes a game, playing on a team that is red hot right now, that is back to being an NBA Finals contender, that is getting an MVP type year out of Pascal Siakam. Kyle Lowry's playing well. Serge Ibaka's having a renaissance season. Marc Gasol's playing well. Terrence has a big role on that team, but he is absolutely a role player on that team.
Dub Jr. asked if Tommy Tuberville wins the Senate race. Can we get him on the podcast?
I'll try.
Talk to Tommy in a while.
I've tried. I hadn't talked to Tommy in a long time.
Tommy got beef with you?
I don't think he's got a beef per se. I think he sees what I'm doing here, and he probably thinks I'm a big Ole Miss guy, and he probably thinks that I'm still bitter at him about the way he left and that I would question it and stuff like that. He also knows that I know a lot of the truth about what happened that fall. I doubt if right now he's too terribly worried about that. He's trying to figure out a way to beat Jeff Sessions for the Republican nomination over there, because if he gets that, he's going to be a senator.
Seat, yeah.
Doug Jones, the Democrat's not going to win that race.
Cutter Up 2000 question from the Schwab stream for Fireway Friday. Dales or no Dales on your steak marinade while grilling at the house? No marinade, salt, pepper, maybe some garlic. That's about it.
Yep. Salt, pepper. Every once in a while, I'll get a wild hair and put a little jalapeno salt on one.
Oh.
And that's about it.
Does that add much?
Just a little. I typically will just put salt on it, and then I'll pepper it when it comes off the grill. Because sometimes if you have a lot of pepper on the steak, when you put it on the grill, the pepper gets kind of bitter.
Whereas Omaha asked, where is Barney and what's he doing? I'm assuming he's talking about Barney Farrar, who, unless there's been a change that I'm not aware of, he was an assistant coach at Jones Community College. Is where Barney is these days, unless, again, something
to my knowledge,
something else has changed.
I miss Barney.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the end there, we were friends.
Like I say, y'all were workout buddies a little bit there.
Yeah, we had nice conversations.
He was spotting Neil. Who finished 8th in the West, Mr. McCready?
Oh.
NBA.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was like, well, there aren't but 7 teams. Memphis. Memphis will finish 8th. Grizzlies are going to the playoffs this year, and the Grizzlies are going on a playoff run next year.
Oh, they're going to win a series next year.
Yes. They're fun. Man, if you're a Grizzlies fan, I mean, I'm not, but I like them. If you're a Grizzlies fan, you have to be excited about what your team is doing, what your front office is doing, the way this rebuild is going, the way that JJ looks, the way that Morant looks. I love Justice Winslow. I know that he hasn't done much in Miami this year, but I think he has a high ceiling if he can stay healthy in the right system. Yeah, it'd be a fun time to be a Grizzlies fan. Jaren Jackson Jr., in case anybody says who Triple J is. That's who I'm referring to.
Who?
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Oh, yeah. Is that what the kids call him?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of funny because I live in a house with a big NBA fan who those are 2 of his favorite teams, the Thunder and the Grizzlies.
Who could possibly end up being all SEC, all freshman by the end of the baseball season? People not named Tyler Keenan. Freshman's a little easier because if you get kind of consistent playing time, you got a chance at that. If Derek Diamond does end up being the Sunday starter, obviously if he has a good season, you have a good chance of that. Drew McDaniel's a pitcher that I like. We'll see how much he throws, but I think he at least could have that type of impact on the year. Peyton Chatney would be your pick because he's probably going to play every day as an infielder.
Peyton Chardonnay?
Peyton Chardonnay, yeah. My guess is off the top. I mean, something like that. We'll go with there. All right, we're gonna take
no Ely, no Plumlee. Come on, man.
Not ready yet for that. Not ready yet. Take a break in your questions.
He's better than Jake Mangum.
Okay. going to go to the Rafters Food and Drink Hotline. We're going to talk to Jessica Lynch. It's already been recorded. So if you're in our live stream, just hang tight. We'll be back in a few minutes after we pay some bills. And if you listen to our podcast, you get Jessica in a second. Before we do, I'll tell you about Tyson Drugs. Tyson Drugs right there on South Lamar, or G&M Pharmacy right there on South Lamar in Oxford, 662-236-2222. Tyson Drugs on the Square in Holly Springs. Deliver local to your home or workplace. They offer MedSync to fill your prescriptions the same day every single month. Just take care of you, make you where you have fewer trips, and you just get the medicine you need when you need it. Again, 662-236-2222.
We're also brought to you by Splinter Creek. It's a gated conservation community located 8 miles southwest of Oxford, 75 minutes from the Memphis airport. SplinterCreekMS.com is the website. 601-898-2772. Call that number. Schedule a tour with Tom Smith Land and Home Agents today. If you're coming up this weekend, the weather's going to be gorgeous. Thinking about moving to Oxford, retiring to Oxford, you owe it to yourself to check out Splinter Creek. It is absolutely beautiful land. 34 lakefront lots ranging in size from 2 to 25 acres, 650 acres of lakes, pine, and hardwood forest. And again, I mean, you're 10 minutes or less from Oxford and in just a pristine environment. You should check it out. Splinter Creek. ms.com, 601-898-2772. Dead Soxy, just like you, loves new recruits, and they know once you join the Dead Soxy team, it's over for all the other brands out there. That's why they're giving you an incredible opportunity to make the switch to a better sock life. For Valentine's Day, they are offering 3 select red style socks at the incredibly low price of $5. There's no excuses for not giving them a try. Additionally, for those of you looking to add to your sock wardrobe, Dead Soxy is offering 3 different style mystery boxes of 10 pairs for just $60 each. The Rebel Grove promo code will not apply to these special offers, but you can still redeem on all other purchases made on the site for 30% off. With their patented technology to prevent that dreaded slippage, it's time you joined the winning team with Dead Soxy. It's time to ask yourself, are you Soxy? We're also brought to you by Southern Craft Stove and Tap. Southern Craft Stove and Tap has your pregame and pre-concert needs covered. Whether you're headed to Oxford for the Rebels SEC basketball or baseball slate, or to Tupelo for one of the many events at Bancorp South Arena, make sure you get your event started off right with a visit to Southern Craft. Conveniently located off Highway 7 and Sisk Avenue in Oxford, and at 205 East Troy Street in Tupelo, Southern Craft has all your Southern favorites ready to serve your hunger needs. So drop in, enjoy a curated cocktail or one of their many craft beers on tap, and don't forget about their catering. From private events to catering in for your staff at work, Southern Craft has your catering needs covered with a meal everyone is sure to love. So make your day crafty. Southern Craft Stove and Tap. Also brought to you by Nest and Wild. Sleep better with a Nest and Wild mattress. Nest and Wild is a Mississippi-based mattress company making a high-quality mattress that's delivered right to your door. They make buying a new mattress easy. Every Nest and Wild mattress is 1 foot thick, giving you comfort and support that will last. A lot of online brands sell an 8-inch or 10-inch mattress with less support and durability, but from the twin size to the California King, every Nest and Wild mattress is 1 foot thick, 100% American made, and the pricing is very competitive. Throw in the podcast discount, and it's a deal you can't beat. It's a no-risk decision. Nest and Wild believes in their product so much they're offering a 99-night trial on every mattress. So try it out, sleep on it for 99 nights, and if you don't like it, you return it. Nestandwild.com. Order your mattress. Use the podcast code REBEL20. That's REBEL20, and get 20% off your purchase. Your mattress will arrive at your door in 3 to 5 days.
Let's go to Jessica Lynch. If you're in a live stream, just hold on 1 second. We'll be right back.
They represent clients in more than 20 states. They have advisors in multiple states as well. Founded in 1997, Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's pintrust.com, PINN trust.com. Tell people Pinnacle Trust that you heard about it on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee. We're always telling you that a trip to Oxford just isn't complete until you stop and visit our friends at Blue Delta Jeans. Valentine's Day around the corner. You can make your Valentine's Day extra special by making an appointment at Blue Delta Jeans. It's appointment only on Valentine's Day. They'll have champagne, strawberries, get your private fitting to get your night on the town started in style at Blue Delta Jeans, BlueDeltaJeans.com. Go into their social media, send them a DM, Instagram, Twitter at Blue Delta Jeans to get your fitting scheduled today. We are also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Been thinking about a golf trip, an anniversary trip, going to Florida, Paris, the Caribbean, whatever. John can handle it. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows him to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits, simply not available to other travelers. Get in touch with John, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and he'll take care of you. It's jedwards@regencytravel.net or 901-494-3387. Send him an email at jedwards. I already said that one. $50 off your first book trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
Hopefully, Emily from the other night gave John a call, tried to figure out an international honeymoon destination for October the 10th. Save the date. We've already got that in our heads here.
Yeah. Yep. Open bar.
Source tells Sirius XM NFL that Chris Kiffin is now the new defensive line coach for the Cleveland Browns, leaving the 49ers to go to the defensive line coach.
So he steps up from...
It's a step up. He was a pass rush specialist with the 49ers, and a Bills assistant is now the 49ers pass rush specialist.
Yeah, so good for Chris.
A little bit of news there. Tomorrow, or your inter squads for baseball, if you're in trust squads, not inter squad, in trust squad. People mispronounce that all the time, including me. 2:30 today, 4 o'clock tomorrow, 1 o'clock on Sunday. If you'd like your last chance to see them prior to the season opener against Louisville, which is on Valentine's afternoon at 4 p.m.
By the way, Rebel women's tennis this weekend, 11 a.m. Saturday against North Alabama. Admissions free. OleMissSports.com.
Oh, God, a matinee against UNA. Those do not go well.
That's true. That's true. Look at you. You're just trolling today. Lane Kiffin era has arrived. You can renew your football season tickets by March 31st, starting at $199. And we told you about the men's hoops team back in the pavilion on Saturday at 1 against Mike White and the Gators. The Ole Miss baseball team will be on hand before tip-off to sign autographs. Tickets remain, can be purchased by visiting OleMissTix.com. So I suspect you'll be in that line interviewing all of the baseball players as they sign.
You think it's a media op?
I mean, why not?
Would they kick me out? I'm a member of the public. I can stand in that line.
You can stand in that line with little Carly Ann.
Other people get to talk to the players. Why couldn't I talk to the players?
Right. You would just be a different sort of a dad. Instead of saying, hey, thanks for signing my kid's ball, you could say, what's your approach to...
So how's that blister? Yeah, that kind of thing.
Totally different deal. Yeah.
Ask whatever I want.
Use your kid as a prop and get it done.
Mike look at me like, what the hell are you doing?
You smile at Mike and say, Mike, have you met Carly Ann? Carly Ann, this is Mr. Mike.
He yells at me occasionally. We have a good time.
Yeah. Sometimes he doesn't like your dad very much.
Mike's been very helpful this week. I mean, no sarcasm, actually. Serious. Yeah, I don't know. I was going to say something, and I'm not sure. No, there might be 10 thoughts on the baseball team signing autographs. I am kind of the villain role. I mean, not really intentionally, but there's just been a lot of bad news this week. Like I did feel like my Twitter account was like becoming like a Grim Reaper or something. It's like Tyler Myers, Tommy John, Doug Nikhazy getting arrested. It's just every 2 minutes turning around, something's going on. No, Mike knows my name when he gets on me. It is not Seth like Orgeron. It's Chase. He's aware.
He uses your name?
Oh yeah. Sometimes. What's interesting about Mike is you wouldn't think he's an emoji guy in text messages.
Really?
You wouldn't think Mike would be an emoji guy. Because he told me something the other day, and I responded, and his reply back was a thumbs up, just an emoji.
Who's the most emoji coach you've ever dealt with? Mine's easy. Mine's a walk in the park.
AK.
Yeah. AK's just emoji off the charts.
Most don't. I don't.
I don't know who uses more
a ton
emojis,
of-
Andy Kennedy or Ben Craddock. They're both heavy
it's
emoji
Ben.
people.
It's Ben.
I think Ben does it more than Andy.
You know, I will say this though. I don't text Mike much, and I get tons of emojis. Honestly, if we had a typical conversation a lot, I think it would actually be in the running.
Huh.
Get a lot of emojis.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Would have never seen that.
Me neither. Like the first time it happened, I mean, just like shocked to the system a little bit. Like, okay. He feels
Emojis
buttoned up
or
sometimes.
GIFs? Just emojis?
Yeah, just emojis.
Okay.
I haven't seen a GIF from Mike. That would creep me out. If I'm going to be honest. I'm looking forward here to see what all we've used. A lot of thumbs ups,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of thumbs ups. Some laughing faces, some smiley faces. Yeah, a few different things there. Is there a quote on how many times AK should be mentioned on the podcast?
Yeah, I
yes,
think-
every time I'd like to.
I think Chet has an issue with Andy, and that's an Ole Miss thing. I don't view it that way. My thoughts on Andy's departure at Ole Miss are well documented. I thought it was time. He thought it was time, but that doesn't mean that I can't maintain a friendship with the man.
Favorite and least favorite food at a sporting event?
Favorite or least favorite
Both.
food at
Yeah.
a sporting event? My least favorite is a hot dog, because typically it's a boiled hot dog.
Okay.
And so I don't really like it that much.
Hot dog is the one that goes on the spectrum all the way up, because like you can get some really good grilled sausages and things along those
yeah.
lines now we're cooking with gas.
Well, like at
It's a whole
Wrigley,
different deal.
this past summer, we got, I guess it was a bratwurst. Maybe it was a kielbasa. I can't remember, but it had been grilled. And they had the jalapenos and the sauteed onion and all that stuff. Man, it was strong.
Yeah, from the live stream, AK has style, but his suits always had way too many buttons. AK always wore like 12 button suits. Always kind of.
Yeah.
He did have some killer jackets that last year or two, though. He had like the Christmas jacket, the red one.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I asked him where that one was on the podcast one day, so it was in a closet somewhere. Because, I mean, you know, a lot of coaches do tons of hand-me-downs, but AK's so big, it would take a certain kind of person to be able to wear all his clothes.
Yeah, he can't just pass those off to somebody. Yeah.
Never mind. I'm not going to say it. People get mad.
What are they going to say? What are you going to
Nothing. Sorry, I'm not in the mood.
It's Friday.
Yeah, no.
Recruiting's over.
I don't eat peanuts at ball games.
Not really.
I'm not a Cracker Jack person.
If I have a weakness at a ball game, typically, especially like a baseball game or something, it's nachos.
Okay, that's fair. I will limit myself. I'm seriously, and I've done this for years. I will only have barbecue nachos during a baseball season one time.
Really?
One time. I will give myself one time.
Otherwise, you'll pack them on.
Yeah, I'll gain 20 pounds during baseball season. I eat lots of hamburgers because they're grilled. They're fine. They're actually pretty good. That's the best value in an Ole Miss baseball game is the burger. You know, I can't get the chips, but
Right.
It is what it is.
Right. Can't get the fries.
What I just mean, you know, they won't let me order the chips with the burger. It only comes with fries. I've been over this 1,000 times.
Do you eat the fries?
Ross never fixed this for me. I need to go to Keith now because I have a problem.
Do you eat the fries?
I don't really like the fries, so that's good. I do, but I love the chips. You know, the fried chips.
Those are like
the
crack,
Crips.
man. Yeah, I'm so glad I'm not there for that.
Yeah, those come with the barbecue sandwiches.
Oh yeah, see, I'd have to just avoid all of it.
Yeah,
'Cause
those come with the barbecue
those
sandwiches.
chips, man. I can't stop.
I need to see if we actually got our dollar total up, you know, because I've been having to carry singles. Like I was going to a strip club to baseball games all the time because I think the burger basket was like $12, but my ticket was for 10. Always having to carry singles around.
When was the last time you went to a strip club?
Oh, college. Yeah. I'm not a fan. I can't stand it.
No, it's
No.
I find it to be so depressing.
No, creep me out. Like, not really creep me out, but just no. And I've got some buddies that were all about them, but no.
Really? Still?
Yeah. Probably a couple. I could probably name a couple names that I would assume. But yeah, no.
I haven't been to a strip club since it's been 20 years. I've told this story. I was covering Auburn in the NCAA tournament, and
I'm not lying in the live chat. I really don't. I'm not.
A member of Auburn's athletics staff wanted to go to a strip club. She had never been to one.
Oh.
And so she convinced a couple of us to accompany her to one in Minneapolis. I can't remember if it was in Minneapolis or if it was in St. Paul, but it was in the Twin Cities.
Whatever, same thing.
Yeah.
Duluth.
And she walked out going, "That's it?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's it.
That's what it is."
I mean, what'd you think? She's like, "I don't know. I just thought it would be like really erotic or whatever." I'm like, "No, it's really depressing."
Yes, it's sad.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the prime rib for $6.99. That's always a positive.
Yeah,
but I mean,
yeah.
otherwise, it's
Yeah, telling how many times that's been heated up in the microwave.
the Sunday brunch is incredible, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's
yeah. It's one of the things I said to her. We walked in and said, "Do not eat the food.
yeah, dude.
Whatever you do."
I don't even remember the name. I can't remember.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not my thing.
Anyway, that's it for food, I guess. I don't know. I'm not hungry anymore. What's the one conspiracy theory you absolutely believe in?
The conspiracy theory that I absolutely
Because it's not
believe
Kennedy,
in.
because you've researched that.
No, it's not Kennedy.
Is it that you think there really was a UFO in Florida back in the 70s?
Flora?
Mississippi?
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, one of the main potential UFO sightings was in Mississippi in
Really?
the 70s. Yeah. Like even cops say that something flew, whatever.
Well, I do think that there is other life.
You don't think we're
in
the
the
only
gap.
life
I don't.
that had made contact?
I don't know.
So you're buying some of this, what was it, Coast to Coast or whatever stuff?
No, I used to listen to it. It was really entertaining. I'm a firm believer in people talk. And so let's just say that there was a government document that was out there, even if it's sealed behind some vault somewhere, okay? About an FBI. I mean, about a UFO. You're telling me that nobody ever talks?
So you don't believe any of the Roswell stuff, any
Not
of
really.
the Area 51, that kind of stuff?
No, not really. I mean, I want to believe in it because it would be fun, but
Yes, it's Friday. We went from strippers to UFOs.
but my human nature tells me no. It's like so much of the Kennedy thing. Had somebody else killed Kennedy, somebody on a deathbed or something would have talked.
Loch Ness Monster?
No.
No?
They've pretty much proven that's not accurate.
Oh, they have?
Yeah.
I haven't really researched that to know. Do you believe that all those mattress firm stores in Illinois were really a money laundering business? I have a list up.
Oh, that's possible. Now you're getting into human nature.
There are a lot of mattress firm stores in Illinois, all within a few miles of one another, leading some to believe it was a money laundering business.
Yeah, I can see that. But a couple places, one place you and I talked about, like there's something going on here.
Oh, that's
Remember
true. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Because there's all this staff, and
Yeah,
then nothing.
yeah, we're like something's going on here.
That's Walter's Car Wash around here.
Yeah. Exactly.
How is that place still open?
I don't know.
That's the answer.
There you go.
I would buy that one. I think that just might be true.
That's what I mean. When you start talking about human nature stuff, I'm in because humans are so flawed. We all are. We're greedy and susceptible. And
I didn't know that Denver Airport had a bunch of conspiracy theories around it. Did you?
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. That's interesting. Didn't know that one. I do believe, I've said this on the show, and I'm serious. I'm really not, I'm not kidding this time. I do believe the NFL had a part in rigging Reggie Bush to the Saints.
You do believe that one, don't
I
you?
100% believe it.
Do you believe the Patrick Ewing? Do you believe the frozen envelope conspiracy that got Patrick Ewing to the Knicks?
That's not my area. I don't know.
It's very similar to believing that the NFL fixed.
I do believe the NFL did something to help Reggie Bush to the Saints.
Well, they had to convince Houston to take Mario Williams.
Okay.
You think the Texans got a little something?
I believe what I believe. Gave you radio back in the day, so.
Oh, so much. And he was great. Like I forgot to include his name on the question in the mailbag about the best athletes I've seen. Reggie Bush in his prime, way up there. There wasn't much he couldn't do athletically. Avery Forbes says she believes the Astros stole other team signs. I do too. Did you see the interview with A.J. Hinch?
I did not see the interview. I saw quotes from the interview.
Man, somebody.
I've never heard this one. People think that the Kentucky Derby winner in 1968 had its win stripped because its owner was like a civil rights person. You know
I didn't know that.
I've never heard this. I'm just, again, reading down a list here.
I got to tell you, so I listened to a little cross promotion here. Lindsey Graham will be on the show Monday.
Yeah, it has been recorded. It was about 40 minutes.
We did about 40 minutes with Lindsey Graham, and I finished Wicked Game, American elections. It was on the 1860 race. This country's a freaking miracle, man. Do you know Abraham Lincoln? I didn't know this. Abraham Lincoln won the White House with about 39% of the popular vote.
Really?
Abraham Lincoln did not get one electoral vote from the South in 1860. He was inaugurated in April of 1861, and one day later, the first shots at Fort Sumter were fired. You talk about a president that walked in and goes, here it is. Had to sneak him into the Capitol, and then he got criticized for sneaking into the Capitol to be inaugurated.
I don't think Lindsey Graham has done anything on JFK to this point that I'm aware of.
Not yet.
Yeah. We'll
Not
get
yet.
there in Wicked Game, obviously.
Yeah.
But he was incredible, by the way. You should listen on Monday.
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
He's fascinating.
Yeah. A lot of history, a lot of just human nature stuff, talk some podcast stuff.
Wish we just said, hey, would you mind reading the phone book for a few minutes?
Should have got him to do our ad hits.
We
You
should.
got 10 minutes?
Got 10 minutes. Can we send you some ads and let you read them?
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Well, he talked about, and I'll give this one thing away, on his first podcast ever, Terms.
Terms. Have you ever listened to Terms?
I've never listened to Terms.
It's fantastic.
Okay. And one of the things he did that gained him notoriety was he read ads in character voices. He did not break character from the podcast to read the ads, which is kind of interesting.
Well, no, he was not part of Terms. He helped produce
yes,
it.
I'm saying, like, it was
right.
Sorry, yeah. Like,
he read the ads because the other he didn't want the characters to read the ads.
I think the companies would get annoyed if certain characters did whatever. Yeah, the election podcast is Wicked Game. Each week is a different election leading up to the 2020 election, whenever that happens.
Yeah.
So
it started with 1789.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which was George Washington's unanimous appointment, basically. And they just finished 1860. It's one a week, comes out on Tuesday. And if you like American history, you will love this podcast. And if you love American history, you will catch yourself, and I do, itching for Tuesdays. They drop it on Tuesday. I keep telling myself I'm going to let some build up so I can listen to them on a drive.
And then you can't.
I fail miserably. Like I've already finished. I finished. I was going to hold Lincoln, the two Lincoln ones, this one and next week's for my drive next week. But
my schedules had to change with them because they're too interesting for me to run to them. I started trying to run to them, and I was trying to listen too much.
Too much.
I couldn't do it. It's been more of something where I've got to kind of be paying attention a little more than that. So
Avery said, "Did we get nervous?" I didn't get nervous. He was really good.
Yeah, no,
I was fast. I was
a little nervous, making sure everything worked. However, he actually recorded on his side too.
I could have kept him longer, but I felt like I was eating.
He told us he had an
time.
hour, but that felt wrong.
Yeah, I just felt like I was abusing it to do that.
But he was great. I'm still amazed that he turned the show on that day just to see what was said.
Yeah.
I think it is
He was pretty humble about himself. Like, he doesn't talk about himself like
he minimized his role.
Like he's a big deal, but he's a pretty big deal. Look at the podcast rankings, and he's just all over them.
He made me nervous by saying that he does not record ahead and does them each week.
I was stunned.
Yeah, that was one thing that I just Last kind of question here. We'll probably get out of here in a second. Hayden Leatherwood will not be the SEC Freshman of the Year because he's not a freshman. He's a JUCO transfer out of Northwest. Originally signed with Vanderbilt. Ole Miss
that would make it hard to be the freshman of the year if you're not a freshman.
It would. Ole Miss picked 6th in the West. Look, they were picked 6th in the West, or 5th or 6th in the West in 2014 when they went to Omaha. I don't know, whatever.
It's kind of one of those deals that somebody has to be picked.
Everybody's in a big pile. In
LSU's
the West
really
right now.
good.
Well,
Arkansas is really good.
Auburn. I think Auburn's overvalued.
Yeah.
They got Tanner Burns, but I'm not. They're doing a lot. They're getting a lot of push off that postseason run, which counts, but,
Right, but
I'm not sure there.
State should be pretty good.
State's good. A&M's got arms. And
Yeah,
arms and
right.
arms and arms.
So
and
much of
arms.
that is just
Now A&M's going to be how does Childers handle everything? Because he's all over the hot seat over there.
yeah.
They're not a fan of Rob Childers right now. So Ross may have him a baseball search after all. In the East, it's Georgia's good, Vanderbilt's good, Florida's good.
I saw where Vanderbilt was picked to win, which I thought was a great accomplishment to get.
Florida will challenge them. Florida actually might have the best pitching staff in the league.
Yeah.
But I will tell you how good pitchers are in the SEC this year. I've talked about this. Kumar Rocker was second team SEC yesterday by the coaches.
Just part of the little engine that could there in Nashville. Such a neat story, the way they've overcome so much adversity to get to where they are. It's amazing.
Athletic department shambles, and yet there they are.
There they are. They just never – no, they have no resources at all. They play in that little bandbox just stuck there in the middle of the campus. No money. They spend all their money on the 22 uniforms they have.
They do have a lot of uniforms.
And every year they just sort of find a
I
way
am kind
to
of
be
upset. They've
competitive.
started wearing those green Army uniforms instead
lot.
Instead of the Navy Vanderbilt uniforms, which I get it's not their colors, but I kind of like them. I mean, Vandy's America's team. It is what it is. So
All right, do you believe that we actually landed men on the moon, or do you think they did it out in some desert somewhere?
I think they actually landed men on the moon. I'm not buying that one.
I know. I think we went to the moon.
There's a boom mic right there in the picture.
I'm always amazed at the people that are like, hey, no one went to the moon. Why would you think that?
Yeah, first team All SEC pitchers were Emerson Hancock and Asa Lacy. Second team All SEC pitchers were Kumar Rocker and Tanner Burns. Okay, I have a beef real quick. There are 3 weekend starters on every team.
Yeah.
Why are there not 3 pitchers on each team here compared to basketball, who puts half the damn league on all SEC teams?
Yeah. If you get a vote, man, you're in.
It makes no sense.
No.
They should add 2 more spots there. There should be 3 first team and 3 second team.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to fill a lineup.
Yeah.
Which means you play 3 games.
Because they'll do the thing with like a utility player and a DH and all that stuff, but they'll just like, no, just 2 pitchers. Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's two starters and 1 reliever.
Where's the hand raised person in Birmingham that goes, hey, while we're doing this, why do we do it this way?
Just add 1.
Yeah.
Somebody else got to vote. Put
That's
them on the
cool.
list.
But it tells you how good the league's going to be.
Yeah, Kumar and Tanner Burns, second team All SEC. Ole Miss plays all these people.
I got to tell you, you offer me a pitcher, it's going to be, say, Neil, you can have 1 pitcher to be your ace on Friday nights.
You want Kumar, don't you?
I mean, someone's going to have to really do some convincing to get me not to take Kumar Rocker. I mean, I'll listen, but I'm going to come in really skeptical. I'll tell you that.
You'd have to learn something about Emerson Hancock or Asa Lacy to throw Kumar into somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, I would walk in with I would be eye roll guy looking at you like, what are we doing?
Here's one reason Ole Miss is picked. If people actually looked at this objectively, here's why they're picked 6th in the West. Is in the East, it's Vanderbilt, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, Missouri, and Kentucky. Ole Miss doesn't play Kentucky. Ole Miss doesn't play Missouri, and Ole Miss doesn't play Tennessee. The schedule is hell.
They traded
That's
some wins
why.
for losses just by
Yeah,
competition.
I mean, frankly, that schedule change, it probably is the difference between hosting and potentially being on the bubble. You're talking about 2 to 3 wins, which, I mean, the margin for
Sure.
error is very small.
Well, yeah, 17 wins host, 14 wins you might not get in the tournament.
Yeah, and 13 and 16 is disaster versus, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
So that is one reason, too, is I'm kind of looking at this thing. So, anyway, we will wrap there. That's it
Do
for
want
the
to
week.
tell you we're
Yep,
brought
yep.
to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. They offer their customers 2.5% interest on their balances and up to $50,000 with Casasa. It's the absolute best cash checking account. They also have a commercial Checking account now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. 662-234-6668. Live Oxford, bankoxford.com. And we're brought to you by Bluff City Advisory Group, dedicated to building the future you desire. Founded in Memphis in 2019, their team is comprised of established and seasoned financial experts who came together to serve individuals and families of their beloved hometown. They provide quality advice, experience, and access to all their clients. They invite an open dialogue beyond your annual review. They believe everyone deserves financial security, no matter your level of wealth or your financial goal. They will serve as an advocate and guide to grow a portfolio that is fruitful and sustainable for you. 901-365-3447 or email ben@bluffcityadvisory.com.
One last thing here.
Yeah.
Shams reporting this, seen on the message board.
Okay.
Knicks and player agent Leon Rose are nearing a deal to make him the new head of basketball ops for New York. The Knicks also finalizing a deal to bring William Wesley into the fold. Is this leading to Cal?
William Wesley what?
Going to work for the Knicks.
Okay.
Leon Rose going to work for the Knicks.
Yeah.
Is this something that has to do with John Calipari potentially being a coach of the Knicks in the future?
Well, this has kind of become a thing in professional sports. The Mets did it. The Lakers did it. It's potential. I still can't believe that John Calipari is never going to scratch that itch.
Again.
But Nick Saban never did. Bigger question, does this mean, the Knicks maybe make a deal for Chris Paul? He represents Chris Paul. He represents a handful of pretty high-level NBA players, or did. He can't anymore now that he goes to the Knicks.
Rose also has Devin Booker, has Karl Anthony Towns.
Karl Anthony Towns, who is unhappy in Minnesota. Devin Booker, who probably would like to get out of Phoenix. God, I love Devin Booker, by the way. Stud. I do love the way the NBA does its All-Star game. Like last night, they did the draft. LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I live with the 13-year-old. I get to see sports through his eyes, and Carson was locked in to the draft.
For the very average sports fan, it was a very odd two teams.
Yeah.
LeBron took guys you know. Giannis took guys you don't know for the most part.
Giannis took the dudes that are kind of like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was fun to watch him watch it because I'm like, I don't care. He's locked in. Like, I can't believe Russell's still available because kids can relate to, hey, we're picking the dodgeball team. We're picking the recess team.
Yeah.
Fascinated by it. And Domantas Sabonis, who was the last player taken, used to play for the Thunder, and Carson likes Domantas Sabonis. He kind of likes the Pacers. And so he was kind of like a little worried about Domantas here. I'm like, it's going to be fine, bud. He's first-time All-Star. Trust me, he's good. It was just fun to watch that. And
that is a good point. The pick teams thing is an interesting.
Like, wouldn't you like to see Major League Baseball say, let's pick teams? Put the players in a pool. Does it have to be national versus American? They do interleague. What difference does it make? Wouldn't it be kind of fun? Let's draft the baseball teams. Mike Trout has a team, and I don't know, Ronald Acuna has a team. All right, Acuna, you haven't won as many MVPs as Trout. You draft first. Be kind of fun to watch it as opposed to the American versus national, where you might get a scenario where a Dodger is pitching against a fellow Dodger in the 7th inning of the All-Star game.
Throwing a little shade to Harden yesterday. They asked about him. He said that he'd like somebody who passed the ball on his team.
Yeah.
Giannis did.
Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah.
Do you want the dribbler? No, I want someone that might actually pass the ball.
Yeah. Anyway. All right.
I like Giannis. And I'm afraid he's going to leave Milwaukee in 2 seasons and go someplace, and it's going to ultimately sort of damper his legacy. But,
Yeah. All right, rubbergrove.com. Anything that's going on in the meantime, we'll be back with you on Monday. So hope you have a great weekend. Be safe. We'll talk to you soon.